Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel, and welcome to Euro Truck Simulator 2. Yeah, I do play a little Euro Truck Simulator 2 from time to time, and actually, I quite enjoy it. I won't say that it is a favorite over ATS, because certainly being an American living in the US, I certainly appreciate the fact of having an American style truck simulator application game or whatever you want to call it. That's quite cool. You know, America is we are what we are as a country because of our trucking industry. And if you're out and about on the highways and you get frustrated at trucks because maybe they're driving slow, or maybe they're doing something that you feel is getting in your way or whatever, just remember that without trucks, we wouldn't have anything. And I really think that that applies to all over the world. It's not just in America that we really depend on trucks to move our goods and such from point A to point B, etc. So I quite enjoy Euro Truck Simulator 2. As a matter of fact, obviously, I got started with ETS2 well before ATS came out, and so that was quite cool. I sort of got into ETS2 right after Farm Sim 15. So basically, I think I've probably told this story before. If not, I will tell it again, just simply because, well, I like to tell stories sometimes, and sometimes I tell these stories more than once. And before we get started here, let me just pause for a second. Okay, we are hauling used plastics from Amsterdam to Mannheim, Germany. So that is what our load and everything is about today. Obviously, it's quite late in the evening. It's just before 6 p.m. local time. So most of this will probably be driven at night, and I am going just a touch too fast, I do see there. And of course, I do speed, as I pointed out in my ATS video that you guys saw not too long ago. I do pretty much speed every time I get behind the wheel, whether that's a virtual wheel or even a real life wheel, and it's typically about 5 miles an hour over the speed limit. So it's just, here, what I have found in regards to driving and driving a little bit over the speed limit is keeping up with traffic. Now, I will say, and let me clarify this, because I do run a G-rated channel, and I do try to do everything in setting the best example and everything. If it is a school zone or if it is some other sort of residential zone, I am going either the speed limit or even below the speed limit. So I'm talking, when I talk about driving about 5 miles an hour over the posted speed limit, I'm talking about on the interstate highway system. I'm talking about like I-25, I-70 here in Colorado, I-35 in Texas, I-45, whatever. I am moving at about 5 miles an hour over the posted speed limit, and it's primarily just to keep up with traffic. I'm not the fastest one out there, but I'm also not going to be the slowest one. There's some sunflowers. We could harvest those if we had time and if we had a combine harvester. But anyway, that is sort of the deal. I just want to clarify that because I do want to live by example. I also take my simulation gaming quite seriously, and even though I'm maybe the realism factor, some of you guys may just have to tune out because I'm not driving a stick shift or something like that. You'll just have to get over that, and hopefully you will. I do take the realism and the simulation and the whole immersion and everything seriously. Again, just for me, there comes a time to where that there's sort of a fine line between doing something that I truly enjoy, and I truly enjoy this game. I really do. I don't play my truck sims enough because I've sort of been in the farm sim mood for many months. Obviously, when 17 came out, and keeping 5 and 6 videos a week going. But I have let me turn on some lights here, put some light on the subject there for us. But I have enjoyed immensely playing Truck Sim, and I have been playing a little bit of Truck Sim in the last couple of weeks as I have been sort of balancing, you know, my hobbies, my other hobbies, my other gaming hobbies, and everything with Flight Sim, Farm Sim, Truck Sim, etc. So that is kind of that story. But I just wanted to clarify because you know I know that you know I am sort of well. I want to do the right thing. I want to set an example. I want you guys that have young children, you know, to feel comfortable setting them down in front of the Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel and just letting them watch anything and everything that's on my channel, because it will all be G-rated and it will all be, you know, common sense gameplay. I'm not going to be, you know, I'm not planning on putting any sort of games on the channel that support violence or anything like that. I've talked about the fact that from time to time I played GTA 5, but that is just that's my private stuff. I'm not planning on putting that on the channel in any way. But anyway, enough about that. So about 5 miles an hour is about what I do in when I play the game. And again, it's just kind of keeping up with traffic, even though we are on the multiplayer server tonight. And there's a few, I've seen a few other drivers, a few other users here. I don't recall what server I'm on right now. I think it is one of the European servers. I get pretty good ping times on the European server as long as it's not too congested. And I just find that I have a little bit better experience when I log onto the European server for ETS2 than logging on to the US server for ETS2. And I don't know, your mileage may vary, but I most of the time the American server for ETS2 is actually quite dead. Not a lot of stuff going on. Of course, this is kind of late in the evening, so you know most of the Europeans are still in bed, or it's very early in the morning for them, so they're probably not out playing. So it's possible that some of the other drivers that we're seeing here that we may run into, hopefully not run into, or hopefully they won't run into us, but that we're going to see out and about are probably other, you know, maybe other Americans or other from other places that are logging into this. So I'm getting 132 megaseconds ping time, and so that's not too bad. And I don't really get that rubber banding effect or anything like that when I play. Now this, I will say that this server, and I can't remember what the server is, but it's the one that has the speed limiter built into it. And of course, I'm also taking my jobs from the world of trucks because they're a little bit more reliable in being there. I still have that sync issue that we have with multiplayer in the regular job sync stuff. So I do use the World of Trucks database, which also has a speed limiter built into that. I think it's set for like 55 or 60 or something like that. Anyway, so that's kind of the deal. So anyway, we are hauling some used plastics over to Germany from the Netherlands. So this is quite cool. Now this is, like I said, this is the multiplayer server. We'll just give a big honk as we're entering into Germany there. This is the multiplayer server as I had stated. And I do plan to, you know, if this is going to be something that I think people are going to want to watch, and you know, I'm gonna do it for a little while anyway, and just kind of look at the, you know, look at the numbers and everything, and see how the videos are being accepted by you, the viewers. But I will probably do more, maybe do some single player in ETS2, and show you guys the Pro Mods add-ons. I think let's stop here and grab some fuel. We may have enough to get there, and we may not, but this will kind of be a little bit of a break in things and add to some immersion here. So we will just pull up here and we'll set our parking brake. We'll turn off our engine and we'll grab some fuel. So while I'm doing that, let me jump out of the cab, and I'll show you my truck. Now this is one of my favorite trucks for ETS2. This is the Volvo. I'm not really a big fan of the other trucks. I like the Volvo. I've got the American flag flying on my side, the driver's side, and yes, I am using a left-hand driver configuration truck, and I've got the Belgium flag over on the passenger side to represent my wife. So obviously you guys know, if you've been watching my channel for any length of time, you guys know that my wife is from Belgium, and so oops, we've already filled up, so we don't need to do that again. And so that is to represent her. But in any event, let's see, not too bad there. In any event, let's see, yeah, Pro Mods. So I want to sort of showcase Pro Mods and talk a little bit about that, because from an add-on map perspective, Pro Mods is got it going on, folks. I mean, I could only wish that we would have the same level of quality in, third-party developed map mods for ATS. Now, I've talked a little bit about the coast-to-coast map in ATS, and it really wasn't designed for to be enjoyed by hundreds or thousands of people. The guy sort of developed it for himself so he could do coast-to-coast runs in ATS, and he shared it with some people and they liked it, and then he just started developing it and adding to it, and he's been doing that for what now, a year and a half or so, and it's quite popular. I've run coast to coast a couple of times. I've run up to New York. I've run over to Denver when he just added Colorado and I-25 and I-70 to it. I did that because it was kind of a fun thing to do, obviously. But it's a lot of cut and paste. The scenery and everything is a lot the same from one region to the other. You'll see some palm trees where you don't normally see palm trees, and that's just kind of the way it is. So obviously, as SCS does a bigger expansion and releases more content, more add-ons, or whatever you want to call it, for ATS, maybe that they'll revise some of that cut and paste. But anyway, if you own ETS2, and if you haven't heard of Pro Mods, check it out. And if I can remember, I'll put a link to the Pro Mods website down below the video, and you can check that out. Now it's absolutely free. These guys are just like modders for other, like for Farm Sim, for example, or ATS or ETS2 truck mods and stuff like that. It's absolutely free. Now you can pay, I think it's $1 or it's $2 or something like that, to get a faster download speed, and I usually always do that because that's sort of a way to contribute to keep, because it costs money. I mean, come on, folks, we know that it costs money to run any sort of website, any sort of servers. I have websites, I've got blog sites. It costs me money to do that. It's on a per month kind of basis kind of thing. So these guys have some costs. So I pay for the extra faster download speed, and I download, and you have to download like 4 or 5 different parts, and there's some setup and everything, but it's really cool and it's really awesome when you get it downloaded and installed. So as an example, what Pro Mods does for the ETS2 world is it really enhances and further enhances the stuff that SCS has already provided for ETS2 for the map. So for example, it'll add additional cities to some of the countries that ETS2 covers. So like for example, and I know I talked about this in the ATS video, it provides the city of Antwerp, which SCS left out. Brussels is depicted in ETS2, but Antwerp is not. And Antwerp is I guess probably the second largest city in Belgium. Belgium's a relatively small country, obviously, but in any event, it's nice to have that depicted. I think I mentioned the cathedral in Antwerp. It's depicted graphically, visually, eye candy and all that stuff, and that's really cool. So I will do that. I will install Pro Mods and spend some time showcasing that, so you guys can see that here on the channel if you so desire to do that. But the one thing with Pro Mods is you do have to have all of the added DLC maps. So I guess there's 3 now that it makes up the ETS2 world. There's 3 different add-on expansion areas. There's the New France, Viva la France. There is, I guess, the Nordic region, and then there's one other, I believe. So you do have to have all three of those because ProMods uses those regions as part of their modded map expansion, or whatever you want to call that. But it is quite cool. And I can sort of show you, you know, the first video, and it'll probably be after vacation. Once I get back from vacation, I'll take some time to download the latest version of ProMods because I don't have it yet. I'll download the latest version of ProMods, and I will kind of show you a before and after, you know, without ProMods versus with ProMods. But it is definitely worth it, even if you do the slow download speed and get it absolutely free without contributing anything. It will definitely enhance your immersion level if you enjoy driving around Europe and this region. So cool stuff. So we're about 144 miles out. I guess we're maybe about 50% through our trip. I don't remember how many total miles this job was, but it is quite cool. I always felt that SES did a really good job depicting Europe, or at least depicting the areas of Europe that you know we essentially drive in. And you know, as far as the Belgium area, that's, you know, I've been to Belgium. I've been to well, within the SES world. Turn off blinker. Within the SES world, I've been to Belgium. I've been to Germany. I've been to the UK, obviously, to England. And you know, it looks pretty good. I've always been impressed with the graphical textures, the you know, the crops and everything that you see, and almost with envy, because I almost feel like that SES has done a little bit better job with some of the texturing, some of the graphical things that we see, the grasses, the flowers, and even the crops and everything, than what Giants have done for Farm Sim. But I think that Giants have done a better job in some aspects with the vehicle stuff, especially like pivoting trailers, which has just obviously come to ETS2 and ATS with the doubles and stuff like that. You know, we've been able to pull multiple trailers in Farm Sim, dolly trailers and stuff like that for well, since Farm Sim 15 anyways. I don't know if you could do it in 13 or not. I'm possibly sure you could, but for whatever reason, SES didn't implement that until, you know, just recently. So it's sort of almost like as if you could take, you know, bits and pieces from SES and apply it to some of the agricultural stuff within Giants realm, and then some of the stuff from Giants and apply that to the SES world. But in any event, I think SES has got things going on quite well. I like the sky textures, the clouds, and of course, being on the multiplayer server, being on Truckers MP, I'm not running any mods, so I don't have any mods enabled on this particular game save, and this is not my career game save. This was a modded game save. I sort of explained the reason why I have two different ones with the multiplayer, with the fact that it's, you know, 24/7, constantly running. If you bring your career profile over to Truckers MP, and if you are, you know, wanting to earn every single dollar that your profile has associated with it, you log on one time, you come back again a few days later, and all of a sudden you're a multimillionaire. Because if you've got workers working for you and all that kind of stuff, they're going to continue to earn money while you're not even playing the game. So that's sort of the difference there. And I realize that we are just well over our 5 miles an hour speed limit there, 37 miles an hour. I do find it a bit interesting that, and of course, I'm speaking completely, as an American, and I'm not trying to be, I'm not an ego kind of guy. I'm not a Americans are better than, Europeans, or Americans are better than the English, or whatever. We're all the same. Um, but I do find it somewhat interesting that truck speed limits are so much lower in Europe than they are here in the US. I mean, this road, albeit it's a little bit of a windy, the long and windy road, it's a bit of a windy road and everything, and obviously it's just a two-lane road. But here in the U.S., this would be 55, miles per hour without any problems at all, or maybe even 65. I mean, it possibly be that. But here in Europe, they've got things where they've got us, slowed down considerably. And so I think when I first started playing this game, and again, we're talking about probably 2 years ago, something like that, 2.5 years ago. I did find that to be quite interesting because it felt like I was just crawling. And the immersion is there. The immersion is strong enough in the game that you sort of have a sense of as if you are sitting behind the wheel, driving a car. And as a matter of fact, actually, and I don't know, I mean, you guys, maybe I'm crazy, I don't know, but when I have really played ATS or ETS2, and I'm talking like the way that I have been playing Farm Sim, where I'm logging, 15, maybe 20 hours of gameplay within a week or two. I often, when I get behind the wheel of my car, my SUV, I'm often sort of like reaching for I've got my G27, I've got my paddle shifters set up for my blinkers, my right and left blinker. And so there have been times that I have wanted to like turn right in my car, and on the right hand side of my steering wheel in my Ford SUV is the windshield control. And if I pull it forward, if I pull it towards me, it squirts the spray on the windshield. And there's been several times that I've caught myself actually pressing that, pulling that back towards me, just sort of subconsciously, and going, okay, wait, that's not how we control our turn signals in our real car, But maybe I'm just crazy. Hey, if that's what it is, then that's fine too. We are going to go ahead and stop. I don't know if by law in Europe, if you have to stop if the crossing guards are not down. Here in the U.S., many, especially if you're hauling hazardous cargo, you are required to stop. Now, obviously, used plastics is not considered hazardous cargo. It's not hazmat material, but you are required to stop if you are hauling hazardous cargo or passengers, as far as that goes. Like if you are driving a bus or something like that, you're required to stop at those. So I generally always like to stop just for the immersion. It's kind of funny. I mean, some of you guys may say, well, Jerry, you don't drive with a stick shift, yet you do some of the other things like stopping at a railroad crossing, whether you need to stop or not. And it's just, again, I'm not gonna defend my reasonings for not wanting to drive a stick shift. I can do it. I can do it just fine. Yes, I've got tile in my office floor. Yes, I sit in a nice roller chair that's got really super fast rollers on it. And if I try to clutch, I'm going to roll backwards. I could fix that by putting a rug under my chair if I wanted to. I'm not going to defend those things. I'm going to just say that, again, as I've said before, it's just a preference thing. I just really don't enjoy it. I enjoy the game. I enjoy being focused and talking to you guys and talking about whatever it is that we're doing here in the game. And I realize that this video is probably going to run a little bit longer. We're about 50 miles out, so probably another 8 or 10 minutes here. Hopefully it won't take me too long to park. And then I'll get you on with the rest of your day and the rest of your YouTube video enjoyment, pleasure. But I just appreciate you all hanging out with me and watching my videos as always. I don't know how many videos I have made. Really got started in earnest in September of 2016. I recall it because I published my first few videos before my 50th birthday, and my wife and I went and spent my 50th birthday in Estes Park, Rocky Mountain National Park, where we're actually going for our vacation in July. And you guys are going to be watching this video while I am going to be on vacation, relaxing, enjoying the crisp, clean mountain air, and hopefully seeing some beautiful wildlife. Hopefully see some moose. I want to see some moose. So the trip will not be successful if we don't see a moose or 2 or 3 or 10. But in any event, that's when I started the channel or started producing videos. Was right before my 50th birthday. So let's see, this is, well, might as well call it July. So that's 6 months, 7, 8 months. So about 8 months I've been doing this fairly regularly. Granted, the last few weeks I've had to scale back my video production, but still, you know, you're getting 3 videos a week. I was giving you 6 before. Even some of the guys that have thousands of subscribers are still only releasing 1 or 2 videos a week. So again, we all know that family commitments and work, all that kind of stuff comes first, and I'm very pleased that you guys understand that and appreciate that and support that. And if you don't, then you probably shouldn't be watching this channel, because you're just not part of the Grizzly Bear Sims family. So, and I don't mean that in any disrespectful way, but you know, I am going to put my family first. I'm going to put myself first. I'm going to, you know, my health and my peace of mind. And even though I love the stress relief and everything that I get from my simulation-based games, sometimes I just want to play the game. I don't want to have to worry about keeping you all entertained. And I don't mean, again, I don't mean any disrespect by that at all. It's just you know, you gotta take care of yourself always. I mean, and that's my best advice to you guys, regardless of how old or how young you are. I have a feeling that I've got mostly a mature audience that's watching my channel. You know, and when I mean mature, I don't mean that you're all, you know, 80 and 90 years old, but you're probably around my age. You're in your, you know, I'm 50, be 51 in October, so you're probably in the 30 something, 30ish up to, you know, 65, 70, 80-year-old range. I know that quite a few of you are older than I am, etc. So, you know, there. Put yourself first. Always put yourself first. Put your family first. Put your job first. Put your, you know, put your friends first. Put your church, your religion, whatever that might be. But always put those things first, because the hobbies, these things, the games, that kind of stuff, in the grand scheme of things, they mean very, very little at the end of the day. When it's time for your, you know, for you to stand before the Almighty, you know, how much time you racked up on a specific game or how many points you scored or whatever is going to mean very, very little. It's going to be the time that you've spent enjoying this life, and I get that enjoying games like this is important. I enjoy it immensely, but you know, I also love my family, and I love doing things outside of sitting in my basement office and driving a Euro truck. So you might be wondering, it's almost 9 o'clock and you know, it's still pretty much daylight. That is just Europe for you. The first few times that I went to Belgium, I was sort of amazed that it was, you know, 10:30 at night and it was still light enough outside to see things. Here in Denver, especially with the mountains just to our west. When the sun goes down, it's pretty dark. And but no, with Europe being higher on the globe than what we are, or what those of us are in the lower portion of the country, it is light much later in the summertime. As a matter of fact, my wife, not my daughter, I don't have a daughter. My wife, when she was a little girl, she used to drive her crazy because the ice cream truck, and I have witnessed this, it still happens to this day. The ice cream truck comes through her little neighborhood where she grew up at about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. There have been times, especially the first couple of days that we're in country, where we're still a bit jet lagged and we're a bit tired, and we go upstairs. And of course, my mother and father-in-law's house doesn't have air conditioning, as many homes don't, because they don't need it, but maybe with the exception of a couple of days a year. And so we're sleeping with the windows open, and just about the time I get ready to go to sleep, I hear the ice cream jingles. And I tell you, that will bring back some little childhood memories of mine, because I grew up in a rural area of Texas and we didn't have ice cream trucks. But when I would go visit my grandparents, they did. And I will hear that ice cream truck, and I was in Belgium last summer. I was 50 years old. Well, I was 49 years old, 49 and some change, and the ice cream truck came by, and by golly, I wanted to get up and go out there and get some ice cream. So let's see where we want to park this guy. Let's see if we can actually get into here. Let's take a look at that now. We're going to do the 90 because I think we can actually do that just fine. So we will kind of spin around here. And of course, the secret to my success in backing up is going to be quiet, because just like with Farm Sim, I am pretty much a mess at trying to back up stuff. So I'm going to bring that mirror up, and I know that I've broken the immersion, but my head tracking is broke, and I don't think it's actually a physical thing. I think it is I think it's just a software issue, and I'm going to try reinstalling the software and see if that will fix the problem. So I'm going to be quiet here and see if I can get this in just a few shots here. Alright, looking pretty good, and hopefully I didn't jinx myself by opening my mouth, but I think we should be very close here. Alright, set our parking brake, hit the letter T. And there we go. Excellent. 316 miles, 36 minutes, 50 and a half gallons of fuel, 64 World of Trucks contracts completed. And there we go, folks. So I'm going to hit continue because I don't want to get dinged by this music. And I will just say thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate you watching my channel. I hope that the little bit of diversity that I am bringing with some of the different videos is helpful to you guys, because they're all sort of simulation based games. It's really the only kind of game that I play, is simulation-based games. I quite enjoy this type of game, and so well, I mean, it's sort of the name, Grizzly Bear Sims, right? I mean, that's what that means. That's what Grizzly Bear Sims means. Is Grizzly Bear is my favorite, sort of my spirit animal, my favorite animal on the planet, and I like to play simulation-based games. So that's how all that comes to be. And I don't know if I've ever actually said that. So there you go. So thank you all again so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful July Independence Day holiday. If you're in the U.S., I'm just going to park our truck here because this is the one and only job that we're going to do here for this time, for this gameplay, this session. And I appreciate you watching. God bless you all and take care. Bye-bye.